Well, hello everyone. It is Wednesday, kind of like my midweek update. And I have a few things to share, like 2 new items and 1 modified item. And the rest of them are kind of like remakes. So we all know that my Friday the 13th market got a little wet, and I have to rewrite a bunch of tags. Just to let you know, the items that I had to put in the dryer are just fine. I put them in there on a 20-minute cool down cycle where it's warm, it's not super hot, and everything was just fine. I had a few things with the larger eyes that I sat out in the sun as I was drying the canopy and all that good stuff. So if that happens to you, don't be scared of the dryer. And it didn't matter if it was Parfait Chunky or if it was Brights or if it was Bernat. Any of the yarns that I have used on any of the plushies that ended up in that dryer was just fine. With the exception of one thing. The fur looks a little, what's the word I want? It's not really matted, but it's not silky soft like it was. It just doesn't feel the same. It looks okay, but it just doesn't feel the same. So there's that. Now I have been waiting because I didn't have enough blank tags to replace all the tags, plus tag my new stuff. I've been waiting for my tags to get here, and I just had 2 boxes delivered from Amazon, and I checked to see what was in them without taking the time to open it, because some of the stuff that is in there, well, most of the stuff, I told Jenna she has $200. What kind of things does she need to get started in her new apartment for her kitchen? So she picked out some things, and I was going to wait to order it till we got closer to moving time so that it's not sitting around in the way. But then I needed a few things, some eyes and some bags and the tags. I went ahead and placed the order. So without picking through that, I checked to see what did I get delivered, and my tags are in there. Yay. So I can get that taken care of. So I'll probably do that today, maybe tomorrow. I don't want to put it off because it's going to be like super time consuming, because it's a lot of stuff. And I've been very good lately about pricing as I go and putting it away. But this stuff didn't get priced and tagged because I didn't have tags. Anyhow, so I started off, I had a few things that I made before the market that I did not take to the market. And I did not bring my list with me. So, like I usually do, I'm going to link the patterns in the description. And if I don't say the name of the designer as I'm talking, it's because I don't remember their name or I can't pronounce it. But it will be in the description. And if I miss one, of course, somebody will let me know. And I appreciate it when you guys let me know when I miss one, because I usually show quite a few things. Anyhow, so things that I made before the market that I did not take with me. I started off with using the 7-weight Parfait Chunky XL and tried one of Avery Crafts-A-Lot's elephants, and this is how it came out. Now, this yarn is a little busy. I definitely think a solid would look better with this, or something that is not so busy. But it turns out a very nice size. So I did one. Pretty sure that I used the 8mm hook with this, because the Speckles is definitely thinner than the regular XL. That I would not have been able to use an 8mm with. Not comfortably anyways. So we did one elephant. And then, you know, I always say I can't give a Mabel chicken away. But I was on Instagram and this post came up, and I'll be darned if I can remember who it was by. And they added wings to their Mabel chickens. And I thought, I like that idea. So I want to try it. So I tried doing it the way that post was listed. And they have you like surface crochet it. And now it could just be this typewriter. This is Bernat typewriter. That is the reason I don't really care for these particular wings, because you can't really see them. I mean, they stick out, but again, this color is so busy. It's hard, like from the side, you really can't see it. If it's facing forward, you can tell there's little wings on it. And my Mabel chickens always come out so small. This would be like super tiny in Bernat, or not Bernat, Parfait Chunky. But it's definitely more work than the chicks and the eggs. So I tried one like this, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to try doing the wings a different way. So I got out some Mystical and did wings like this. And this was just kind of like making a turtle flipper. Gave it a little bit of a scallop edge, and then I had to sew it on. Now this makes it to where you have sewing, but I think they show up better and look a little bit more like a wing, in my opinion. So I did, this one was one of the blue Mysticals, and the intent was to give it a purple comb, but I forgot because the purple wasn't sitting right there on the table, and it ended up with the red comb. But it still looks good. Actually, I think this is the teal on the Mystical. Yes, I'm picking fuzz. And then I did one more. I do not remember the name of this Bernat. It is some that I have the smallest amount left. And it happens to be the one that ended up the biggest. And to me, it looks more appropriate. Like, this one looks like chicken colors, but this one also looks like chicken colors. This one's just for fun. But I did it the same way with the, like the turtle flipper, and then sewed it on. I just do a few stitches across the top, and then a few down where the scallops are there to get it to attach. And it sticks out nicely. So that's all I'm going to do are these three. Oh, and I also gave this one a little comb. Or, not a comb, a wattle. This is the comb. This is the wattle. Just a little tiny one that just took in like 2 little stitches there. Because this has like so much orange in it, I was like, does this orange really stand out? This one I stitched the eye on. This one I used the safety eyes on. And some glue because, you know, the smaller eyes, so they have glue. The ones with the safety eyes. But I tried those. I mean, I haven't made a Mabel chicken in so long. But I just thought maybe with the wings, it would help me with being able to sell them. I mean, 'cause I hear all these people saying, oh, they sell all their Mabel chickens, and they just don't sell for me. But we're going to try it like this and see what happens. So I did one other thing before the market and did not take them with me because I didn't have enough yet and not quite finished. And I have been watching these come up on Instagram for the longest time, and they are so cute. And this is one of the pattern designers that I do not remember their name. But they make little clothing for them. I don't know. I just thought they were cute. But it's a little shrimp. Now, I did this out of Parfait Chunky. And you make the little tail pieces here separate, and you have to sew them on. You make these separate and have to sew them on. But the legs are done in the round. You make them while you're in the round. Now this is peach, coral, something like that in Parfait Chunky. And I did yarn over. And I think I used a 4.5 millimeter hook with this. Or yarn under and a 4.5 millimeter hook. And I was like, that's a lot of work for a little teeny tiny guy like this. So I tried it again, and I did yarn over with a 5 millimeter hook. Now this time I tried to surface crochet this part. Just make them and sew them on. It's easier. But there is definitely a size difference. Not a lot, but you know, Parfait Chunky, everything is smaller. So if I did this in brights, I'm not sure, you know, because brights can be really fluffy, if the legs would look okay. And this part, the rest of it would be fine, but it would definitely come out bigger. And they don't take a lot of time, but the amount of time that they take for as little as they are, I don't know, but they're cute. And I want to have some tags on them saying that they are emotional support shrimp. So I need to make up some tags and small tags and figure out how I want to attach it. So that is on my 500-mile long list that never seems to get any smaller. So we did the shrimp. And then we went to market and got wet. So after the market, I made up a list of, these were my newer things that when I went that they sold well. And then plus other things that just sell well. And plus, you know, I swear every market, someone says, do you have a flamingo? And it's been on my list. Well, I bumped the flamingo to the top of the list. And that was the first thing I made after market. So I have two patterns. Crochet Grove and, oh, what is her name? The one that makes the jelly bean bunny. Why can I not think of her name? Anyways, I was going to like roll the dice and see which one I wanted to make. And I ended up picking Crochet Grove's pattern because the pattern is easier to read. However, the other flamingo, I think, is much cuter. So I think I'm still going to make one of those, because I did this one in brights and it's really big, so it's going to have a good price on it. And the other ones in brights, I think they're faster once you get used to the format of the pattern, and they're definitely cuter. I like the beak on it better. But this was just easier to read. So I took the easy way out, and we did Crochet Grove's Flamingo. I need to get some new lint rollers. So the only thing about these is they do not sit up on their own. They're very front heavy. The other one, the other pattern, they do sit up on their own. They're not You know, it has a neck, but it's not quite as long as this one, so it doesn't make it as top heavy. But like I said, I went the easy way out. Now, for some reason, none of my stuff was landing in the right spot. So I think I got off track somewhere at the very beginning. So I had to play games and adjust it to try and make it look even, because I just didn't want to frog and start over. Just didn't want to do it. So we have one flamingo ready, and we'll see what happens. So this is really big. Out of brights. But it's very top heavy. Anyhow, flamingo. Then, after I did that, I was like, well, I sold my Minecraft bee. Let me see if I can decipher my notes. Well, let me tell you, I didn't do too good at taking notes. I left off like how I closed it up. The beginning was fine, but the ending I didn't do so good at taking notes. But I was able to accomplish another Minecraft bee. I think maybe I should probably have more than one, especially for this upcoming market being a summer fest, and if they really have as many people as they say in their marketing to get the vendors to sign up and stuff, I think I should have more than one. Not to mention, this was the first item that sold at the last market. So, we have this, and it is done out of Mystical to give it that pixelated look. And, yeah. So, there we go. One Minecraft bee. Now, mind you, I think it's the summer heat, but I feel like I have been in slow motion. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to crochet, and I just want to go to sleep. I have just been exhausted. I don't know. I've been exhausted. Anyway, so after we did the bee, I was like, we need some rubber ducks. It's on my list because we sold 3 last time, and that left me with like 2 yellows, a light blue, and a light pink. So the mint green went quick 2 times in a row. I don't have a whole lot of mint green to use. I think I have 1 skein left, and I need that for mini scrumps. So I did 1 in mint green and 1 in whatever, like Caribbean or something blue. It was like the last little piece that I had of this color. Then I did 1 in the peach coral, and 1 in hibiscus. Now, last time, 2 markets ago, I sold this color. I didn't have 1 in this color this last time, but this was like the first one to go 2 markets ago. So I did 4 more ducks for now. That gives me, I think, 8 of the little ducks. And this is a free pattern off of Instagram. And no, I do not remember the designer name, but it'll be in the description below. It's too many. I have too many different patterns. It's too many names to remember. Now, if it's something that I've done a lot and I've got several patterns from that particular designer, I tend to remember their name much faster. And I've always been so bad with names. So 4 rubber duckies. Also on my list, because I sold my last baby dragon, and those were dragons that I made to send to the dungeon. and then the Dungeon closed shop. So I had a few left over, and it's been, you know, I sell one here and there. But I had mentioned that I wanted to do it like in the Ender Dragon colors because, you know, the Minecraft movie and all that. So I made one. This came out so tiny, and I did it in Bernat's Mystical in the Cinder, and then I used the light gray in Brights as the accents. And it does not have red eyes. It has purple eyes. I had to look it up to make sure I got it right. So the other ones that I made, I using Big Twist plush, so they were really a good size. But this one, it works up really quick. It is no-sew with the exception of tacking the wings down if you don't like how floppy they are. I mean, you don't have to tack them down, but if they're too floppy for you, you use your tail and tack them down. I like to tack mine down. So this is my little version of an Ender Dragon. And this, see, he's got purple eyes. This is Beck Made Studio. She does the little Pokemons that I like, which is also on my list to remake the ones that I sold of those. I got a lot of things on my list. It's very, very long. So, yeah. Now, I did, I don't know. From what I remember making this pattern before, I barely had to adjust anything. This time I had to do serious adjusting. It just, like, this part. I think because I was making a change, and she has you change colors and then like chain up a few and then slip stitch or single crochet, whatever, back down. But I did the little horns as bobbles, so that may have had something to do with it. So the ears are like a triple crochet bobble, and then I did a small mini bobble for here, but he kind of, I don't know. And then these are pretty much done the same way that I did the chicken wings. Is kind of like a turtle flipper and then giving it a scallop edge. But this scallop edge is different from what I did on the chicken. So he's tiny. I don't think that I can go much higher than 15 on him. But he'll be displayed with the Minecraft bee. And I think I'm going to put the axolotls with them. Which I need to make more of those because I sold my blue and pink. You guys, I need more hands. So that I can make more than one thing at a time. So then I moved on to sharks, because Shark Week is towards the end of July. I think it's like the 20th through the 26th, something like that. And I do have a market that falls towards the tail end of that. But I think they'll start like really ramping up Shark Week advertising, and it's going to be on the kids' minds and stuff. So I want to have plenty of sharks. Now, I took 5 to market. I sold 3 out of 5. Both of the whale sharks and one of the regular looking sharks that I did in blue instead of the dark gray. So the one I like the best out of the 3 in that Teresa Crochet Shop pattern pack was the whale shark. So I did 2. And I did it both in blue, but in 2 different shades of blue. So I did this one first. There, that looks a little better. This is the periwinkle in Brights. And my tail looks much better now that I figured out what I was doing wrong before. So the only sewing is attaching the belly piece, and then you go back and you make the stripes, which is easy, it's fast. It's like every other row. You kind of do a dash and then kind of a solid, then a dash. So much better placement on my fin this time. And then I did another one using the brights as well, but with the denim blue. And this is the color that I used on the first two that sold. So I'm not sure if I should use, like, make some in some pinks and things like that, or if I should just stick with like the blues and grays for the sharks. I am unsure of how I should do that. So I would like to have several of each style, maybe not as many of the hammerhead, but I might try on it with the hammerhead shark using some of my Sweet Snuggles Light and Home Slim stash on those. I think just because the stitches are more defined, it will look a little better, I think. I'm going to try one and see if it comes out looking any better. And then, of course, there's the regular looking shark. And then I thought, well, you can make that regular looking shark and then put some stripes on it, and then it's kind of like a tiger shark, maybe. I'll have to try it and see. But so we have this one, and it is just the tiniest bit bigger than this one. But this yarn was definitely a little thicker than this yarn. So we have 2 whale sharks. And like I said, I would like to have several of them. So then I took a break. I did. Moved away from my list. I was supposed to make a kiwi turtle, but I wanted to make a turtle with a flower on it, with the daffodil, and Passionate Crafter has a YouTube tutorial on it. But I wanted to see if I could adapt her flower part to fit on All From Jade's Tiana the turtle. Tiana the tiny sea turtle. And I was able to figure that out. So I did, this is technically like 4 patterns mashed into one. The flower part is Passionate Crafter. The flippers were, what's that shop name? All she does is turtles. The flippers came from that. And then the addition of the extra stitches on it came from Matilda the turtle. And then the head and bottom part of the body is Tiana. So, I'm not real thrilled because I did this part basically with the coloring the way Passionate Crafter did it. Now, I started off with sage. I had all the flippers made with sage, and then I was like, nope, it's not going to look right. And I switched over to the light green, the kiwi or the lime, lemon, whatever. And I should have stuck with the sage on the flippers and the head because it's just too much of that green. But my mind was like, okay, it's a flower. It needs to, the rest of it kind of needs to look like the plant. Or if I would have done the head and the flippers in brown, like the caramel, I think it would have looked good. It's just too much of this green. But I'm not going to take it apart and do it over. When I make another one, I will do the head and the flippers in a different color. So if you have All From Jade's turtle pattern, Do your head like you normally do. Do your flippers like you normally do. When you get to this part to have the flower, do it just like Passionate Crafter says through round 6. And then for round 7, you're going to do 6 single crochets and an increase, and that's going to bring you up to the 40 so that you can do the assembly and everything the way All From Jade does it. And the reason I wanted to do it like that, when I looked at, there was just something about the way the flippers were attached on Passionate Crafters that I didn't like. And that's just a me thing. I didn't care for it. And, you know, a lot of other people would probably love it like that, but I didn't care for it, and I have to like it in order to be able to make it, if that makes any sense. So this is a hodgepodge of turtle patterns all mixed together and needed better color choices. But the daffodil, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to do the flower. It's not one that you see all the time. So now I'm going to go and watch her rose part and see if I can adapt the actual rose part the way I did with this to fit All From Jade's turtle. Or at least see how she does the petals so that I could get the petals right. But I will be very mindful of how I choose my colors. So I worked on that one yesterday. And then I was like, all right, we got to get back to the list because we got a lot of work to do. And at the last market, I took 3 mini scrumps, the Crochet Grove pattern, which is free off of Ravelry. And in order to find it, you do Crochet Grove, all one word. Don't separate it. And you'll be able to find her on Ravelry. And all her Lilo, her Stitch, her Angel, Scrump, and Mini Scrump, they're all free on there. So I started working on those last night. And I made enough arms to do 6. But I didn't get 6 dolls made. And I just was like, I don't like batch crocheting. So I got the arms made, and then I started on the legs and the body. And I had everything done. Now I add a collar to these. Her little pattern doesn't have a collar. Actually, my copy of her pattern doesn't even show it having eyes. It gives instructions for the mouth. I don't know, maybe it's missing a page or something. So I use a little button die that I have. It was one that Jenna ordered for me off of Temu. And to cut the buttons, but you could take and just cut a circle and then put holes in it to look like a button if you want to use felt, or you could sew on regular buttons. So I had everything done except for the faces. And I finished that up this morning. So I have 4 completed. I would like to have 10. Am I going to have enough yarn for 10? I don't know. Now I could place an order, but if I place an order, you know I'm going to order other stuff. And I'm running out of room in here. Plus I'd have to straighten this out a little bit and make sure that I'm getting all the colors that I need. If I'm going to place an order, I'm going to do all the colors that I need. And then I just got that order in last week, and it's still sitting here in a box, except for the colors that I absolutely needed right away. So I'm waiting because I have like 2 weeks and Jenna moves out. Right now, my living room is just packed full of boxes. And all she's packed up is her room. And I'm like, how do you have this much stuff in that little room? There's a whole lot in there. So I'm waiting. I really don't want to place an order, but I might have to, until after she moves. And John is going to replace the floor in there because, you know, we put in one of those floating wood floors, and, you know, it was one of like the first kinds that they came out with. And of course, if you spilled something on it, it messed it up. So there's a couple of spots on there where her friends, her pets, whatever, doesn't matter who did it, some liquid was spilled on it, and it's buckling. So he's going to replace that floor, which he'll get that done in a day. It's because it's a small room. And then the furniture that is in this room, to make it a guest room, it's going to go into that room. And then it's going to free up this room for me. So I kind of don't want to bring in more stuff until that furniture is moved out and I can figure out how to do this, because that wall over there is almost all window. I might block off some windows. Never know. It's set up very oddly. You have a closet door on that side, the entrance door on this side, and another doorway on this side that leads into what I called my button room, which is still a work in progress, because right now part of that room has totes in it with yarn that I'm not using, with plushies that have not gone to market, plus all my button supplies and shipping supplies, and it's just a disaster. So I started working on that, and then this whole thing with Jenna wanting to move came up, and then I stopped because I need this other furniture out of here so I can get, like, in my mind's eye, how am I going to do this? Anyways, I know, I'm rambling. So, we did 4 of those. I still have arms and the eyes cut out for 2 more. I used part of this skein to make the mint duck. So I think I could get 5 of these out of one skein. So I might be able to get close to the 10 that I want to have, because I do have 1 skein left. But should I also have a couple more of the mint ducks? I don't know. And I don't have a lot of time, because June 28th is Summerfest. But that's not the only market that I'm prepping for, because then the second Friday of July we'll be back at the regular place. I skipped the 27th at my regular place because I just don't think I could handle 2 days in a row in this heat. And the market coordinator was very understanding about that. Oh, and speaking of that, these people, they're like pretty freaking awesome. I got an email, and I mean, he had come around on Friday when, you know, the rain started to lighten up a little bit, and had mentioned that they were going to do refunds for people. And I'm like, well, I'm not leaving, so why? But they sent out an email, and what they're going to do, instead of giving cash refunds to everyone, I think there's like 27 or 30 spots, but they were not all full. So there's a handful of us that were there that will get credit for another market. And then as the markets come up, they'll give you the date. Like, everybody's not going to get that setup for free at the same time, but we're all going to get credit for a setup. which is very nice of them. I think that's very generous. I mean, they can't control the rain any more than we can control the rain. Okay, so I had mentioned I wanted to take a little bit of time and think about what I wanted to do for a giveaway. And I've almost, I think, got it figured out. So usually I would do something digital, like a pattern. But I think just about everybody has my patterns. I mean, I don't have a ton of patterns, but the patterns that I do have, I think just about everybody has some. So I was thinking a gift card. But so that everyone can participate, regardless of where they're from, it would have to be digital. So I was checking Etsy, which all of us would love an Etsy gift card to buy patterns with. But if it's bought in US dollars, it has to be spent in the US. So does that mean if I was to do the Etsy gift card and say somebody in France won, would they be able to buy the digital files from a US seller? Does it limit them to only US sellers? Or could they buy from anyone because it's digital? I don't know. I haven't got all the answers yet. But that's what I'm leaning towards, is doing a gift card and then maybe having a choice of it being an Amazon or an Etsy gift card. So if anyone knows how the digital gift cards work, if you can help me out on figuring this one out so that I don't have to exclude anyone, I'd appreciate the help. Okay, so that is my big announcement. So that's what I'm thinking for my giveaway, for my 50,000 subscriber giveaway, which you guys are all fantastically great. I appreciate y'all being here so much. We will have a live this Friday. I don't know what I'll be making, if I'll be making anything. Whatever it is, it'll be something easy so that I can stay on track. But we're going to go and open those Amazon boxes and find my price tags and see if we can get some of that done. And we will see you Friday night.